So before proceeding forward, I am assuming you have got all your basic concepts cleared, such as Dart, Flutter, and how to implement Firebase authentication and use Fires to database as well. Because in this module, we will only talk about the intermediate concepts, because we will build a complete chat application, and for that you must have your basics ready. So without wasting any more time, I would like to start by creating a new project. So let's go to the folder, and here I would use the command line and just write flutter create chat application, like this. So this will create our new Flutter project. So yes, it's done. This is our chat application. Now just bring out your VS Code and open your project here. Okay, it's done. So I will just remove this test file. Now I will not just run it in my emulator right now. I will first create my Firebase project. So go to firebase.google.com, then click on go to console. Then here simply click on add project and give it a name. I will name it Flutter Chat App. Okay. And then continue. I will not enable Google Analytics for now. And then click on create new project button. And then it will just take few seconds. See, your new project is ready. Then click on continue. Then here we are navigated to this Firebase dashboard. Here you can see there are all the options like authentication, database, storage, hosting, and all. And at the very middle, you can see get started by adding Firebase to your application. So we have to configure Firebase with our Flutter application, and I will configure an Android version. Just click on the Android. Here you will see there are a lot of options, that is text fields. First is Android package name, that you can find by going to Android folder, then app, then source, or you can directly also go to the within the Android there is this build, and here you can go and see this default config and your application ID. Just write this here. You can name it anything. I would name it chat app. Then since we will be using Google sign-in authentication, so we have to use our debug signing certificate for it. To get your debug signing certificate, you have to get the SHA-1 key from your device. For that, simply open your directory, that is system directory. Go to C folder where your Android files are there. This within inside program files. You have to go to Android, then Android Studio, then JRE, then bin, and here you have to bring out your command line. Now you just have to paste this line of code here. If you want, you can just pause the video and get the SHA-1 key. After you type it and press enter, you will get your SHA-1 key from here. Just copy it and then paste it in this debug signing certificate section, and then click on register app. I'm reminding it again, this key is used for Google sign-in, phone authentication, for this kind of purposes. Now you will have to download the config file This is important as it contains the API keys and the critical information for Firebase to use. Just download it and then go to that folder where it's being downloaded. Cut it from there. Now in your Flutter project, go to Android folder, then inside app folder, and here paste your Google services.json file. Then simply click on next. Now we have to do some Firebase configurations in our Flutter project. Copy this class path line of code, and in your Android folder we have a build.gradle file. Inside it, just paste this here. Then inside the Android folder and then inside the app folder we have another build.gradle file where we have to paste this line of code. Let's go here, you can see here, paste it here, and then copy this apply plugin and paste it at the very end. Also, one thing you have to do is write here multi-dex enabled true. This code is required when we are dealing with Firebase. So this you have to remember always. Then simply click on next, and when we click on continue to the console, we are navigated to the Firebase console, and here our Android app is ready to work. Now before we run our application in the emulator, we have to do some configurations here. So just go to main.dart file, and here make the main function as async, and then write this line of code. First widget Flutter binding dot ensure initialized. So you have to write this line of code. Just wait, it is taking some time. Widget Flutter binding dot ensure initialize this, and then simply have to write Firebase dot, you have to first import the Firebase as well. But as you can see, before importing Firebase, we have to write the dependencies in the pubspec.yaml file. So for that, go to pub.dev, because to access any external package or feature, we have to use dependencies. So first was core, second was Firebase Auth, then since we will be using Google sign-in, we will use that plugin as well. And last thing is Cloud Firestore. So these are the required packages. Just copy this package, go to pubspec.yaml file and paste it here. Then similarly copy auth package, paste it, then Google sign in, simply copy and paste, and then finally our Cloud Firestore. These dependencies are obviously required, and all these Firebase plugins are collectively called as Flutter Fire. You can just search this term and you will find all these dependencies. Now go to main.dart file and let's initialize our Firebase, and here we have to write await Firebase dot initialize. That's it. So all the configurations are done properly. If you want, we can just run the application in the emulator, and also make sure in the authentication you enable Google sign-in. So just write setup Google sign-in, and here in the third you have this disable, just enable it and write save. Now Google sign in is being enabled. Similarly, you have to enable Google Firestore as well. So here just click on create database and then choose a location and you do it in the test mode. And after that you will be sent to this Cloud Firestore console as well. So that's it for this video. Make sure you start debugging, because since it will take some time, I would like to stop the video here so that it doesn't waste our time and we can continue in the next video. Thank you. Hi. In this session, we will build the authentication screen, because before going inside the home screen or the chat screen, definitely the user has to create an account. So for that, let's create a folder inside screen lib and name it screens, and inside that create a file called auth screen dot like this. So as usual, import material, and then let's create a stateful widget and name it auth screen. Return a scaffold since it is a screen, then body, then I would center everything, and then within the child let's have a column. So what I am simply planning to do is create, that is first thing there will be one logo there, then after there will be the app name, and then a button called sign in with Google. That's it. So that is why I'm using the using this column. Within the column let's have a container, let's have a decoration box decoration. Inside it I would like to give the image, it will be decoration image. And now within this decoration image we will give a network image widget. So you can just simply open your browser, write you can write chat or chat logo, suppose chat icon like this. You can just, and then there will be lot of options, you can choose whichever you like. What I will be doing is, just wait, let me check if I get what I want. So I will be just using my own, which I have already used before. You can simply right click and click the copy image address and then paste it here like this. Simple as that. So it is the auth screen. Let's go to the main dot dart. Let's remove all the previous code, and here in the home make the auth screen as the initial screen like this, and then restart. Let's see, is it showing, image is showing, or some error is there. Let's check it out. I guess what I can do is, suppose if I give expanded, then let's see what happens. See, because obviously you should give some height to this container. So I have given expanded means take all the available space within this column. So that is the meaning of that. After this expanded widget, I will have a text, and here we will write Flutter chat app, And let's give some styling. Font size 36, font weight dot bold. Let's save it and see. Since I have used expanded, so it has just pushed to the very bottom and it has taken all the space here. After this, we need to create a sign in with Google button. Let's do it. Let's have an elevated button. Unpress will be empty for now on, just for the UI. And within the child, let's create a row so that there can be an image as well as text. Row, let's make main axis alignment dot center, and in the children, first thing I need is image dot network, and then get a Google logo. I would just copy my own this image, but you can just go to Chrome as usual, search for image and copy its address and paste it here like this. And to this image, let's give a height of 36. After this image in the raw, we will have a size box of width 10, so that there will be some spacing between the logo, that is the image, and the text. This is the text. And text will be sign in with Google. Let's give some styling, basic styling as always. Then we will have a font size of 20. And that's it. Let's save and check what's the output. See, we have this logo and we have this button. First thing, I would give us some padding to this button. Let's go and then wrap it with padding and give padding of not all. I would give symmetric, and then horizontal is 10, vertical will be 20. Let's see. Now it's looking at least decent. Then what I will do is, to this button here, I will give some styling to the button. Style button style dot all. Sorry, it should be just button style like this. And then within it, I would give a background color, material state property dot all, then colors dot black, and then some padding also, more padding you can say. Check, because padding needed to make sure the button is not this narrow, so let's give some padding as well. Material state property dot all, edge insets dot symmetric, and then only the vertical, let's give 12. Let's check. See, now this home screen, sorry, the Auth screen is looking perfectly fine. I am explaining that because of this expanded, it has taken all the space till here, and then the other widgets, that means the text and the button, are pushed down. So yep, that's it for this authentication screen. In the next video, we will implement Google sign-in functionality. Now the UI part is completed, it's time we work on the Google sign-in functionality. So for that, in the Auth screens file, I will simply go at the top And first thing I would create a Google sign in instance. So it will be Google sign in is equal to Google sign in like this. And then after I would create an instance of a Firebase Firestore, that is Firestore database as well, because I would store the user's data in Firestore also. It is all the authentication data. So after this, let's create our future function name is sign in function. It will be async. Then this is the procedure, that is this code is fixed for the Google sign in. Await Google sign in dot sign in. So this will pop up the menu where you can choose your account. You might click the back button and the account will be null. In this case, I have done this check so that if the user clicks on sign in with Google but doesn't choose any account and directly goes back, then the below code won't be executed. After this, let's authenticate Google Auth is equal to await Google user dot authentication like this, so that we get the access token and the ID token through it. And then let's have our credential and write Google Auth provider dot credential. Here it accepts access token and it will be Google Auth. Just make the U small. Google Auth dot access token, and then the ID token will be Google Auth dot ID token. Then what we have to do now, we have to use the Firebase Auth instance as well. So I would just simply write user credential is equal to await Firebase Auth dot instance. I have created the instance here only dot sign in with credential, and we have to pass the credential. So simple words, this code was required to get the authentication or the credentials from the Google, and after that we will use this line of code so that our own Firebase authentication can access this account and store the information. Now we have successfully signed in, but what I want to do is I want to create or save those data in the Firestore database as well. So you can simply write await Firestore dot collection. I would create a collection called users dot document ID can be user credentials dot user dot uid, and it is showing this error because it cannot be left null, so I'm using this exclamation and assuring that it won't be null, and then the set method. Let's do it. Here first thing I would store is the email. Simply write user credentials dot user dot email, and as always you have to use this. Then I would write name is equal to user credential dot user dot display name. Then I would save the image. and image we can write is user credential dot user dot photo URL. Then it will be UID. UID will be user credential dot user dot UID. And the last will be date, at what date this account was created. So date time dot now. Okay, we have our function ready. Let's try it out. But first make sure we call this function in our on press button. So simply write on press async and write await sign in function like this. So this function has been called. Now let's check if it is working or not. We have our Firebase ready. Now if I click on it, it might ask me, or it will directly, yeah, it has asked me. So I will click on my account, and obviously right now we are not being navigated anywhere, but let's check if it has been saved or not. See, this has been saved, and in my Firestore database here also the data has been saved properly. That is date, email, image, name, UID and all. Now everything is working fine. Just one thing I have to make sure that, suppose the user logs out and then if he clicks on sign in with Google again, then this data will be stored or updated again in the Firestore database, which simply means, suppose while using the chat application the user change the image in our Flutter application, he changed the image, but if he goes out and click on sign in with Google again, then again this image will be changed to the default image of its Google account. So because here we haven't done any check, so first thing I will do a check that document snapshot will be data type and write user exist, which simply means if user exists in the database. Now I will write dot collection users dot doc, and document ID will be user credential dot user dot UID dot get, like this. And this UID should be, make sure it is not null. Now this will go to this Firestore in here, check if the user has already registered or not previously. So after that we can simply do an if check, if user exist dot exist. If the user exists, then we can simply print for our debug that user already exists in database. But if not, that's the first time for this user, then we can create a new entry in our Firestore. So this thing was very important. Now suppose if I click on this sign in with Google again, see, user already exists in database. So at least the previous data is not being updated or pushed forcefully to the same document ID. Now we have our Google sign in working perfectly, but after the user signs in, we have to make sure that we navigate to the home screen and also cannot return back to Auth screen until we sign out manually. So we have to check the Auth state of Firebase, but before that, let's create a file inside screens directory and name it home screen dot dot, like this. Here let's import our material package. Let's get a stateful widget, name it home screen. I would remove the default constructor. Then we have this scaffold. Now in the app bar, let's simply have the title of text, right? Home, then center title true, then background color should be colors.teal. Okay, and here I would have a button that is for the logout. I will add icon button and just give it an icon of icons dot log out. Okay, and after the app bar, I would give a floating action button in our home screen. Floating action button. Then in the child, I would write icons dot search. So why I have done this, I will explain. Just let us create this UI first. Now we have this UI. Let's go to the main.dart and just for testing, let's see how this UI looks. Now I restart and let's check. See, this is the home screen of our message application. So I have this search button so that the user can search his friends in this application and message them from there directly. That is the only purpose of this button. And in the body, we will have all the chats that the user has is been talking to, but it will be on the later video because right now at least he has to first start a conversation with someone. So that's it. I would make it the Auth screen again. Now, just imagine I restart the application, but I have already signed in, but we are not navigating to the home screen because we are not checking the authentication state of the Firebase. So in the next video, we will do that exactly. That's all for this session. Hi. Now to check the authentication state, we have to use the current user method provided by Firebase, and accordingly we will show the screen whether the user has signed in or not. Let's go to main.dat file. Here, first thing, I would create a future function which will give us a widget. I would name it user signed in. Here I will check if the user has already signed in or not, which we can do is by calling firebase auth dot instance dot current user. Simple as that. Then I would check if user not equal to null, then return home screen. If it is null, that is he is not signed in right now, then return auth screen. That's it. So this is the function required. Now let's implement it in the home property of our widget. Simply use future builder, and here the future will be user signed in, and the builder will as usual give us context and a sync snapshot. That is, it will return as a widget as we already know from the function. Now we will simply check if snapshot dot has data return snapshot dot data. That simply means return the widget, and we have to make sure to give this exclamation so that it is not null. And we already know that one widget will be at least there, either home screen or the Auth screen, so it cannot be null. Or if it is not, then I will just show a circular progress indicator until the feature function is executing. Now let's save and restart and check if I'm directly navigated to the home screen. See, now if I restart my app, I will be navigated to the home screen until and unless I click on this that means logout button, which is not working right now, but we should click on it and then only we should go back to the login screen. Now, since we have the user data coming from the Fire, so that is this data, obviously we will be using and sharing this data across the application, and it will be in JSON format. It's better we create our own model class for those data. So let's create a new folder inside lib and name it user model dot dot. Then it should be named models, and we inside it we should create a file called user model dot dot. So let's start creating our model class. I would name it user model. Now it will have all the values of this class, that is this data. So let's start with string email, string name, string image, timestamp, which is from Firebase. It will be called date, then string UID. Let's create a constructor. Let's write required this dot email, required this dot name, required this dot image, required this dot date, and then similarly this dot UID. So we have our model ready, but as you also know that there are functions to serialize and deserialize our JSON data, and usually it is called dot from JSON and all. This concept is the basic concept of Flutter called the models. So I hope you know this concept properly. You just write user model dot from JSON. I'm naming it this. It will accept a document snapshot called snapshot. So what is this document snapshot? This data is called document snapshot. Now I would just simply return a user model. Now let's start with email. Will be snapshot email. Then let's copy it. Second will be name, and then name. Obviously you can write it in any order. I just like to have this order in the same way. It looks good. Date, and then UID will be UID. So these key are nothing but these key, all the image and all these keys. Now let's make sure that we send this user model class while navigating to home screen, so that these data can be used throughout the application. But first let's convert Firebase auth user to our user model. Go to main.dart. Then here we have this user sign in, and the user data type which is coming from the Firebase. So here within the if statement, I will simply write document snapshot user data is equal to await Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection users, and then simply with the document ID of user.uid, I will get the data from the Firestore. This data. Earlier we had this data, which is the user data. From that, I am fetching the Firestore and then simply converting it to our own model class, and use user model dot from JSON and send the user data, which is a document snapshot. And within this home screen, I would like to send it while navigating. So inside the home screen, we should make sure we are accepting it, like user model, then user. I will just name it simply user, and then through the constructor, I am accepting it. So the error will be gone. Now, when we sign in with Google, we have to navigate to home screen. And for that, I would use the My App widget. That is, I won't directly send it to the home screen. I would just simply send it to this My App, so that it will again check and fetch the data from the Firestore and then create a model, or else we have to do it again. What I mean by that is, let's go to auth and within the sign in function at the very end, I would just write navigator dot push and remove until. Then here within the new route, if I write material page route builder and the context, and if I write home screen, see, if I write home screen, then I have to send the user, which is a user model. So lot of thing I have to do. But if I write simply My App like this, if I simply write My App, so it will normally go to this screen again. Then it will show a user indicator, and it will get the data from the Firestore and convert it, and ultimately send it to home screen. So this is a much better approach. We don't have to write the code again and again. So let's check. If I restart, let's see. Obviously, I cannot check the sign in because we have already logged in. So let's at least make use of this logout button. For that, simply go to the home screen, and here I would make it async. Sorry, not this search, to this on icon button async, and I will await Firebase auth dot instance dot sign out, and then I would write navigator dot push and remove until. And now here I can simply write My App or uh, the auth screen, because as we know that it is not authenticated and he has to go and sign in again, and auth screen is not asking anything as a parameter, so it doesn't make any difference. Let's see. Now if I click on it, see, I have been signing, I have been navigated to the Auth screen. And now if I click on sign in with Google, let's see what happens. See, then a loading indicator will show and directly I have been sent to the home screen. So this is how the auth state work. That means how I am utilizing the auth state and make sure the user sign in automatically and he can log out as well. So that's all for this video. In the next session, we would work on this search button so that the user should have the ability to search his friends in this chat application. Welcome. In this session, we will simply create a search screen for this button so that whenever a user clicks on it, he should navigate to a screen where he should be able to search for his friends. So let's simply create a new screen. Yeah, and I would name it search screen dot. Let's import our material package, make it a stateful widget, and write search screen. And as I did with the home screen, while navigating to this screen also we would require the model class, that is user model user, and let's have it in the constructor and then return a scaffold. Let's have an app bar with a title of search your friend, and then in the body what I'm planning is first widget will be just a text field and a search button. Whatever the user clicks on it, and after he clicks on the search button, then only the function should execute, which we will do it in the later video. But right now only the UI portion I would require a column, then children. And as I said, I will be using text field, so we would require a text editing controller called search controller is equal to text editing controller, like this. And within this, let's start with a row. The first element I want a row because I want both the widgets in the same horizontal manner. So let's have the children, then a text field. The controller would be search controller, and decoration, let's give it input decoration, hint text would be type username, and border would be outline input border, outline input border, and within it let's give a border radius of border radius dot circular and give it 10. So let's check it out, but before that we have to make sure we navigate on the button, that is using the on press function. Go to home screen, and here on the on press just simply write navigator dot push, then the material page route context, and it will be search screen, and we have to send the user, and which is in the widget dot user, that is here. Now let's save it. Now if I click on it, obviously wait, what I have did is I did something wrong. since it was row, it was column and all everything. So first thing I would give a wrap this thing with a padding widget and give padding of 15, and then wrap the padding widget with an expanded, that means take all the space. I would wrap it with an expanded, not wrap, I would just write expanded here. Now if I save, because it, the Flutter was like what should be the size of this, and here I have done something wrong, that this column shouldn't be there. Remove this widget. That means we have a column, inside it we have a row, inside it now we have this expanded and everything. Let's check it out. I guess because of that extra column the error was there. Now if I click on it, see, we have our text field with this padding and all and expanded so that it is taking all the space here. Now after this expanded widget, within the row I will give a icon button. Let's give the icon to be icons.search. So that's it. Let's check it out. See, it is looking decent. At least we know that we have to type here and then click on it, and after that the results will be shown here, and that we will do in the next video. So that's it. We have successfully built the UI. So in this session, we will work on the search functionality. So we have the text field and the button ready, but when we type a username, then the data should be shown in the body, that is from the Firestore. So before moving forward, let's go to the home screen. I just want to write one line of code. While we are signing out, we should write this as well. That is Google sign in dot sign out. So we have to use both this line of code in order to sign out, because if we don't use Google sign in dot sign out, then we won't be able to log in with a different account. All the time only one account we will be able to use, but that's why we have to make sure we write this line of code as well. Let's go to the search screen again and start working on it. I would create some variables which will be a list containing maps, and I would name it search result. It will be empty at the very beginning, and a boolean value of loading, just to make sure when we are fetching data, there we can show loading indicator in the UI. And this list of map is nothing but when we search for users and the data is coming, that is this data is coming from the Firestore, it will be in JSON format, that is map format, and I will store all those map in this list. That is, suppose there are 3 users, then there will be 3 map in it. And since it is a list, I will use a list view builder to output all the users in the body. Then let's work on the search function. We have to write on search like this. I would name it on search, and then start with our Firestore, that is Firebase Firestore plugin dot instance dot collection, and here I would go to users and use a where clause so that I can filter and get the exact name, that is whatever the username we want to search, we can get that data only, and it will be stored in search controller, and then I will just write dot get. So now after that I will use a then clause so that as soon as we get the documents, that is here list of documents, we will check if it is empty or not, that is whatever the user has searched, does it exist. So I can do it just using the length and if it is less than 1, that is 0, we can show a scaffold, not scaffold, sorry, we can show a snack bar. Dot show snack bar, and then a snack bar, and we can write a content like no user found. That's it. And also, as I said, I am using this loading indicator. So here, as soon as we click on the search screen, that is on search, I would make the loading indicator as true. And if it is null, that is there is no data, then I will again make it false and then return from here. That is, we don't need to execute the below codes if there is no user available. But if we have a list of users, then we will use this value variable, then all the documents, and then I will loop through it, and it will give us details of a particular user. And simply I would write search result, that is that variable dot add and user dot data, like this. Also, I don't want that the user could search himself. That is, suppose he has a name of John, and if he write John, I don't want that in the search result he could see himself, because then he would be messaging itself only. So to make sure it is not there, that the user who is searching is not coming, we can just write dot data email is not equal to widget dot user dot email, that is the current user. If they are not equal, then we can use, and if they are equal, then that data won't be stored in this list variable. And after that, I will again use this set state is equal to false. Also, what I want is when we click on the on search function, then it makes sure that the search result variable is empty, because we might search multiple times. Suppose the one time the user search, all the details will be stored in this variable, but if he types another name, then this search result should be empty, like that. Okay, here the function is ready. Let's work on the body portion, that is within the children we have this row, and after the row I will use an if clause, that is if search result dot length greater than 0, that is if some data is there in it, and if not, or I would write else if is loading is equal to true, then show a center widget with a circular progress indicator. And let's work on now if search result dot length is greater than 0. Let's start with an expanded widget. Since we are using a list view builder, so we have to use expanded so that it will take all the space, and since it will be scrollable as well. So in the item count, we will simply write search result dot length. Let's write shrink wrap through so that it takes the only the space required. Then in the item below we have context and the index, and then I would simply return a list style. I would return a list style with leading as right circle avatar, and here child will be image dot network search result index, and then the image property like this. Similarly, in the title, I would write the name, that is search result index and the name. In the subtitle, I would like to write the email, index email, and then in the trailing, I would give an icon button. The on press will be empty for now, and the icon will be icons dot message like this. Let's save it, but since we have only one user, it won't work. Let's log out and sign in with a different account so that we have multiple, at least 2 users in our application. Now, if I go to the search screen and type Rahul Agarwal, let's see, does it come? Okay, sorry, I forgot to assign this function, that is this on search function, to the icon button of search like this. Then only it will work, obviously. Let's test it again with this new account. I would search my previous account and click on search and see, it is working so perfectly. And if I have something like John, which is not there, and if I click on it, so just imagine right now, if I click on this, then no user found and the previous data will be removed, since I make sure that search result gets empty because of that only. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we will work on this chat icon, that is so that when we search a user and the user appears, then we can message him with this icon and there will be a chat screen. So see you in the next video. Let's start working on the chat screen. So create a new file inside screens directory and name it chat screen dot dot like this. And here let's import material and then make it a stateless widget called chat screen. I will remove this default constructor because now just imagine when we have a chat screen, at least we should know who is the sender and who is the receiver, that is who is actually the current user and the person he is talking to. So for that we have to we require some parameters of some data in this chat screen. First will be the user model, that is current user who is messaging. First thing is this. Then second is the friend ID, that is to whom he is talking. We need the user ID, that is unique ID. Then we need friend name, and then we need final string friend image. So why I need this friend name and image? Just to show this data at the app bar, that is to who, if you have used a WhatsApp, then you know what I'm talking about. That is at the very top an image will be there and the name of the person will be there. Now let's create a constructor and accept, that is everything, all the data, this current user dot friend ID dot friend name dot this dot friend image like this. And then In the build function, let's return a scaffold app bar. In the app bar, let's give the background color as colors.teal. And then in the title, I will use a row so that we can output multiple widgets together. First widget will be the image, and I would make it circular using clip rect widget. Border radius is equal to border radius dot circular 80, like this. And then in the child, I would write image dot network friend image, that is the string, and give it a height of 35. Then I would use a size box of width 5 just to give some spacing, and then text the person to whom he is talking to, that is the current user is talking to, and give it a font size of 20. So now to navigate to this page, we have to go to the search screen, and then in the list tile, we have this icon button, and here we would navigate, that is navigator dot push material page route context, and we are sending to the chat screen, which requires all this data. Let's write it one by one. Current user will be widget dot user, which we are already accepting to this screen. Friend ID will be nothing but this index, that is search index, and here UID. Similarly, name will be name, and image will be this image variable. And also while navigating, I just want to set the state and make the search controller empty. I just wanted when he returns, that is when he clicks on the back button, then he can search another user if he wants. That's it. So let's test this codes. Now if I click on the search button, again search on for a user called Rahul Agarwal. Then if I click on this chat icon now, see, this is layout is similar to WhatsApp, you can just say, but we have the image and we have the name. And just remember, I am sending the image and name via the constructor. That's why it loads so fast. If I had used again their future builder there and then fetch everything, the experience would not be that great. Now in this chat screen, let's create a text field here and a send button so that the user can at least type and send the messages. So inside the chat screen, after the app bar, let's go to the body. Let's have a column. And the first thing I would use an expanded widget so that the text field would take all the space, and a container. And here text field I am building like this. You will just understand because this expanded is different. Sorry, I will explain everything. Let's first write it down. Edge insets dot all 10, then decoration box decoration colors dot white, border radius dot only, top left, let's give radius dot circular 25, and top right, let's again give radius dot circular 25, and for the time being, this the child inside it, let's leave it as an empty container. I will work on it after some time. I just want to show you that here this expanded widget will take all the space here, that is all the chats will be shown here later on, and at the very end we will have our text field. And I would like to separate the code, since text field will have lot of code inside it, including Firestore services. So it's better we create a separate file for it so that the code will be clean and manageable. I would inside the, let's create that, suppose we have models, we have screens, let's create another folder called widgets, so that all the widgets, that the separate widgets will be written here, and I would name it message text field dot dot, since it will be used to send a message. It will be a stateful widget. I would name it message text field. Now, as usual, I will remove the constructor, and in this screen, what we would need, just that two data, the current user ID and the friend ID. String current ID and string friend ID. And since this current ID is by default nullable from the Firestore, that is why we have to use that. And then a constructor, this dot current ID, this dot friend ID. Now let's simply go to the chat screen, and after the expanded, let's write message text field. Current ID would be current user dot uid, and friend ID will be friend ID. I would like to test see one thing. No, this uid is string only. So let's go and don't make it nullable, make it a string like this. And we can make it final as well because it won't change. Okay. Now inside the build function, we would return a container, and then let's give it a color, or let's, first thing I would do is give it color of white, colors dot white, and then some padding, insets dot all 8. After it, in the child, let's have a row, because I will show a text field and a icon button together. So this expanded widget is very useful. It will be used a lot of time, because here I want this text field to take all the space, available space. In the decoration, let's give it an input decoration, and label text should be label text should be type your message. Fill color, let's give it colors dot gray, and then simply filled is equal to true, Then let's give a border outline input border, border side. Let's give it a width of 0. Gap padding 10 and border radius dot circular, give it 25. Border radius. And since it is a text field, we would require a text editing controller. Text editing controller like this. And inside the text field, just give it this controller. Okay, let's see what is there. See, this is looking so good. Type your message and all. After that, I just want a button here. So within this, after this expanded, let's have a sized box of width 20. And then I would first of all give it gesture detector. On tap will be nothing for now. But in the child, let's have a container. Padding will be edge insets dot all and give it 8. Box decoration shape will be box shape dot circle. Color would be colors dot blue. And inside it, the child will be an icon simply. Icons dot send color colors dot white. Let's save it and see. This is the submit button, that is the send button. We will type the message here and we will send it to the Firestore. So that's all for this video. In the next session, we will implement the Firestore functionality in it. Now, this is the most important section where we would save the sent message in Firestore. So the concept will be, I will create a new collection called messages inside users collection. That is inside this, and inside a user, I will create a new collection called messages, suppose like this. And then we'll have the ID of the user to whom this user is talking to. That is his friend ID. It will be like this. Suppose messages, then it will be ID of the person he is talking to. And then in the collection, again inside it, I will have a collection called chats. And inside this chat, we will store all the messages, like suppose message, hi friend, suppose. Then another field will be date, suppose. Another field can be type, it will be text message. And this will be auto incremented, not the users, because here there can be lot of chats. Suppose this is one message only. In this way, there can be lot of messages. And here two more data or key will be there. One is sender ID and one is receiver ID. Like this, I would create this messages collection in both the user who are talking to each other, so that both of them have the recent messages displayed in their profile. And here I will also have something called, suppose here this is the a user ID. Inside this here I will have a last message field. Just you will understand why I am using this last message field, but right now you have to just try to understand properly what I am about to write. Whatever I shown you, I will write everything in the code. So go to message text field, and here in the gesture detector, first thing I would write a variable called string message is equal to controller dot text. I will have the message inside it, and then I would clear out the controller, that is whatever I have typed will be removed, but we have already stored it, so not an issue. Then I would use the Firestore instance here in the collection users. I would get the document of this user, that is the current user. Inside it, I would create a collection called messages as I showed you. Then inside it, I will create a document to the person this current user is talking, that is his friend. And then I would create another collection called chats and then add like this. I know it can be little overwhelming, but this is how we can do it. Obviously there are other ways as well, but I came up with this solution. Now what we have to save is first thing sender ID, second is receiver ID. You might be thinking why we are saving the sender and receiver if we have already stored those data, but I'm just explaining why I'm using this, so that if it is a sender, the message will be shown in the right side, or if it is a receiver, suppose the message will be shown in the left side like this, just to differentiate. Then the message itself like this, then our all message will be type of text, but if you want you can implement later on photos or files as well, it's up to you. And date is very much important, so it will be date time dot now, so that we can filter and bring the recent messages in a descending order. Now what I want is, after this is stored, I would again have a Firestore dot collection, again one query, then widget dot current user dot collection messages, and here I would set something in this document, that is widget dot friend id dot set only one field, that is last message, like this. And here it will be shown like this last message. If you are using WhatsApp right now, and if you see in the home page, you can see in the subtitle the last message you sent or you received, and then you can click on the chat and read the whole chat. So that is the reason. Let's try and test this code at first, because it will only store in one user's collection. As I told, the same code should be for a receiver as well, but let's test if it is working properly or not. Hello Rahul Agarwal. Hello Rahul, it's fine. And if I click on send, see, it is now removed, and we are hoping that it will be stored in the current user, that is this user's collection. if I click on this, see this messages, then this ID and this user's ID is same as I was explaining. Then he is talking to this user, and if I go to this user, the last message was hello Rahul, and chat was just one chat, that is this message only. Now the same thing we have to do for the user who is receiving as well, so that it will be updated in his profile as that is the message. And right now I am just removing this because we need the same message to be in the both of the user. Now save the same message in the collection of the user with whom the current user is talking to. Where it is ending here. After it, let's have the same code. Firebase firestore dot collection users dot doc. Now here it will be friend. Just remember, not the current user. We are going inside the friend user and creating a collection called messages. Then the user that friend is talking to is this user, which is widget dot current ID. Then we will create a chats collection and add inside. Let's have the sender ID as widget dot current ID, that is this message was sent by this user. Then receiver ID will be widget dot friend ID. Then message will be message type will be text, date will be date time dot now. And after it is done, I will again save the last message. It is Firebase firestore dot instance dot collection users dot doc widget dot friend ID dot collection messages dot doc widget dot current ID dot set. And here I would just write last message is equal to message. So I know this is a lot to digest, but I will suggest you to just pause the video and try to understand the code line by line, because this concept is not that complicated, but there are a lot of code involved. That is why. Now let's test. If I write Rahul Agarwal and again search, get the user, and now if I type how are you and send, now this message will be stored and should be stored in both the users. See, first and the second. And here it is talking to this person. Last message was how are you, and then who send, type, message, date. So that's it for this video. You have to understand the concept and the code properly. In the next video, we will work on fetching all the sent SMS messages and show it in this body. Thank you. Now in this session, we have to fetch all the messages from the Firestore and show it in this screen, that is the chat screen, using Stream Builder, so that as soon as the message is sent, the UI will be updated automatically, just like you message in WhatsApp. Let's go to the chat screen dot dart Here in this container, now we will remove this container widget, which was just a placeholder earlier. We will have a stream builder, and the stream would be Firebase firestore.instance.collection users.doc current user.id .uid. We will go inside the current user, and from the collection of messages, we will fetch only the message of this particular friend, and we will now have all the chats. That is, we will fetch all the documents in the chats. But before that, I just want to make sure I'm descending order. That is, because the latest message should be shown at the very last. Definitely the user, or else the user will get confused which message was sent when. So here I will just write descending is equal to true, like this. Now in the builder, let's have our context and the async snapshot. Now, as usual, first thing will be if snapshot dot has data. If it has data, then it's fine. If not, return a center, and inside it, let's have a circular progress indicator. And if the function has data, but before that we have to check the length of it, because it might be data can be null as well, that is 0. So we have to write like this, and if it is less than 1, we will simply return a dummy message at the center, like just say hi. And just suppose if the snapshot data is more than 1, that is there are a lot of chats in it, and then we will use the list view.builder. Item count will be simply dot data dot docs dot length, and in the item builder, let's now output everything, but I would like to make some changes here as well. That is, reverse should be true, physics should be bouncing scroll physics. That's it. And I will explain you why this reverse is equal to true. Yeah, when we get the output, there you can understand properly. Now inside it, let's first check if the sender is the user only, so that we can adjust the position of the message. Either it will be on the right or it will be on the left. So one boolean variable is me, and we will just write snapshot dot data dot docs index sender id, if it is equal to current user dot uid. If it is equal to that, we will return message, but for that also I will create a separate file so that it is much more easier. I would name it single message dot dart. Here let's import material, then a stateless widget called single message, and we have to send some data in it. So first thing will be final string message, And second thing will be boolean is me. You would understand why I have written all this, because at the very end these code will make sense. Okay, here now return that single message, and message will be snapshot dot that index, and then and is me value will be that this is me value only. So if the message was sent by the user using this account, then what should happen? The message should be shown in the right hand side. Let's do it. Here in the container, I would return a row here, not a container. And also main axis alignment will be dependent, but first I would like to write some messages. It is container and padding edge insets dot all 16, margin similarly edge insets dot all 16. Let's give some constraints to it. Box constraints, max width should be 200 only. Now color will be accordingly, right? If is me is true, then colors dot black. If not, then colors dot orange. And let's give some border radius to it. Border radius dot circular, and I can just write dot all and then radius dot circular as 12. Okay, and within the row, same thing, that main axis alignment. Now if the message was sent by this user, then we will have main axis alignment dot end, that is on the right hand side. If not, then we will have main axis alignment dot start, that is on the left hand side. So this is how the line of code work. Let's check. If I now write Rahul Agarwal and search, we already have two messages. Okay, let's see, something might be wrong. Let's check it out. We will have that chat screen, messages, chat. It is message only. Okay, let's check again. In the chat screen, this is working. The length is also working, as we have only one message. That's why this line of code, but I guess I did something here. This single message, that's obviously I haven't shown the message here. Wow, such a silly mistake. We will have the text message and give it is style of color, because else the color won't be shown. If I save it and see, now it's looking so good. How are you? The message is perfect. If I didn't write this line of code, this main axis alignment, then it will be at the starting, but I don't want that. I just want that if the user has sent this message, then it should be at the very end. Now let's go to this account and see. Now if I go to the other account, click on it. Now this is the, I guess, receiver. So here the message should be shown at the left hand side. Name was programming, I guess. No user found. Okay, spelling mistake. Let's check what is the name. I will just copy it. Or I will just change it here only. I would name it programming. Let's check it out. See. Now, if I click on it, the message is on the left and the color is orange. I am good. I'm doing good. Let's write I'm doing good. See, it is now on the right hand side. So this is why I use those if else statements and everything, so that we have the UI properly and everything has a meaning. Main thing was how to send the data, then in the chat screen how we are checking through this line of code if the sender is the current user, and then accordingly we are outputting this widget. And again, it's a row with having just one container, so that it can be on the left hand side, it can be on the right hand side. And the length and the message length, that is the box length, was this, that is max with 200. It cannot cross it, it will just go down, that is second line. So that's all for this video. In the next video, we will fetch the chat in the home screen as well. Now it's time to fetch the messages in the home screen, because we are able to send message, but if you restart, then again we have to search the user, see the chats, and this is not a proper chat application. If you are using WhatsApp, you know that once you search the user and once you message them, the message or the user is shown in the home screen. So now we have to fetch all the people to whom the user has messaged and show it here using streams. Let's go to home screen, and here after the app bar I will have a body. Let's use a stream builder. As always, stream will be Firebase Firestore dot instance dot collection users, then dot doc widget dot user dot uid dot collection messages, and just get all the messages here. That means inside the messages anyway we have the user id of the person talking to, and then in the builder we have a context and a sync snapshot. Then let's check if snapshot dot has data. If not, then return center and a circular progress indicator. Okay, now let's check if the data is less than 1, that is null. If snapshot dot data dot docs dot length less than 1, then we will show something like simple text like no chats available, like this. But if it is not, then I would return a list view builder. Item count will be snapshot dot data dot docs dot length, and item builder, I would as always return a list style. The list style is used most of the time. This widget is very handy, but now what I am thinking is, obviously through these messages we are only getting the user ID, that is this ID, nothing else, and with only this message. But with this, how can we know the user name, user image and all? So we have to again use a future builder here. What I mean by that is, first let's have like friend ID is equal to snapshot dot data dot docs dot id. This is the user he has been talking to. And second, let's use the last message, this snapshot dot data dot docs index last message. And now here, first of all, I would return a future builder. Future will be Firebase Firestore instance dot collection users dot doc friend id dot get, so that I get the details of that person. In the builder, we will have a context and a snapshot, and I would name it this snapshot as a sync snapshot. Then if a sync snapshot dot has data, if not, simply show linear progress indicator this time. And if it has data, I would simply write var and catch the data in this variable, and then return a list style. And in the list style, first thing, let's have a leading circle avatar child image dot network friend image, like this. Then I will have a title with the text and name it name. In the subtitle, now here I will show the last message. That is, this is how I would do. I'll just use the last message here, give some styling to it. And in the container, I would just write overflow text overflow dot ellipsis, so that if the message is too long, it will be removed at the end and there will be 3 dots instead. Let's refresh or restart and check if it is working. See, we were talking to programming, the image is there and the last message. Now the only thing I want is, when I click on this name or this tile, I should navigate to the chat screen. Simple as that. And this can be done very easily. I will be using on tap, then the navigator, then the material page route, context, and the chat screen. And As you already know, chat screen requires these parameters to be sent, and most of these parameters are with us. Suppose this like current user will be widget.user. Friend ID would be from here. It is friend and the ID here. It is from this variable. Second, friend name would be friend name, and similarly friend image. It was so simple, and since we have the chat screen already built, we just have to push this field. Now if I click on it, there doesn't exist within the field, doesn't exist. Let's check. Let's see what went wrong. I think this ID should be UID. Yes, this one mistake, because that field doesn't exist. And if I click on now, see, we have the chat and this message I sent it. And now if I write, I'm doing good, where are you, and send, then you will see if I go back, the last message will be where are you. So this is how we built the chat system. I'm explaining again that here, first of all, we use a stream builder, get all the messages. And if I bring all the messages, only the user ID will be there. Through this user ID, I again use future builder and get these details, that is image, name, UID through this future builder. See, and then if I get the data, it was just simple. I just outputted it in the UI. So I think this application is completed. In the next video, I would just install a plugin called cached network image, and after that our whole application is completed. Thank you. This session will be very short. Here I would just install a plugin. It's always recommend to use cached network plugin wherever and whenever we are dealing with images, so that the image will load faster, as well as if there is any error we can handle accordingly. So go to that is pub.dev, right, cache network image. Then here just simply install it and copy and paste it in the pubspec.yaml file. Now the thing with cache network image is, when we install it, we have to restart our application. That is not restart, we have to stop debugging and then start again. Just wait, it is taking a little more time. Let's stop debugging and then run it again. It will take few minutes, as Android Studio depends upon the RAM of the system as well. But since all the functionality of the app is completed, this is just an add-on. If you don't use cache network image, then also your app will work properly. There will be no error in it. But just to make it smooth and just to give the user a good experience, that's why we use such plugins. Now, if you go, just remember the main concepts in this chat app was, first thing was how we are sending messages and storing it in both the collections, that is uh, both the users collection, so that it is automatically refreshed in their screen at the same time. Moreover, you should focus on how we are fetching data in the home screen as well, because there we are using stream builder as well as future builder. So all the concepts are required when you are building a real world application. This is a chat app, but obviously there are a lot of application you can build, and most of the time the concepts will be same, just few codes here and there, and the UI will be different. This running again takes a lot of time. Till then, just check our code. This concept also, that is the chat screen, where we are using the isme boolean to make sure the data alignment, that is the alignment of the chat, is either on the right side or on the left side. Then in the single message, it was just simply a container with a different colors. This was also had an important concepts. You can see how we can use where clause, how we are saving the data in this list variable, and a lot more. In the main.dart file, the important concept was this user signed in, because you can use stream builder and with the auth state change, but there you will face a difficulty to again implement a firestore call, that is this, which will be a future. If you can do it, it's very good, but that's why I found this solution. Now the app is running. Let's go to home screen. Here the message field is in the list style, this circular message and all, circular avatar, and I would remove the circular avatar because this was not giving us proper circle. I would use the clip rect. This widget is better with a border radius of border circular. Let's give it 80. Then child, it will be cached network image like this. Image URL, just wait. Image URL would be friend and the image. Then placeholder widget would be a simple circular progress indicator. You can use other images as well, it's up to you. Error widget, if there is any error while fetching, we can use simply an icon for now, icons.error. And after this, let's give some height of the image, that is 50. Now if I restart and check the image here, let's wait, it is doing, let's see, and then the image shows. So now it's being cached, and I showed a circular progress indicator. It's better you show some kind of dummy image. It's more, it looks more nice in that. Now the another section where we are using image is in the chat screen. You can just go and find out, I guess in the app bar we are using, yeah, here only. So what you can do is simply copy that as well. So I would just simply copy this cache network image in the chat screen. I would paste it here and just import, give the height of 240, and this would be friend image. That's it. That's how we use the cache network image. Let's check. If I go, see, it's been already cached. That's why it was so fast. If it was not cached, it would have a little bit slower. And here, definitely, it's not. If you were using directly that image.network, it might have taken few seconds. Now again, if I log out and log in with a different account and check, sorry, I think I did it with the same account. Yeah, I did the same account. Let's do with this account so that Rahul Agarwal should be shown in the chat, and see, image is there. And if I click on it, image is there. And the chats are aligned properly. We know what chat we sent and what is this. So that's all for this course. I hope you have enjoyed learning and building a real world application. In the same manner, you can build any application you want. Just remember the basic concepts. You should practice it again and again.